And then I say, what up? How's it going, man?
It's going good. How about yourself?
It's also going well here. Let me pause my music. So we're doing a deck doctor today on Rikido Sato. Honestly, the guy's got like probably the biggest come up in these provisional pack cards. Some would say Kirigiri, but I think that man still has a very hard time killing. I think this guy's had the most results of the provisional characters, correct?
Yeah, so I've been testing him since the last provisional, and if I have lost, it's been a really close loss. So like he hasn't got blown out of the water, and just the ability to potentially stun for a turn 5+ is like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of broken in my opinion. Like they're not if they overcommit and they can't kill you and they only leave a couple foundations up, now they're gonna have a hard time blocking, your kicks coming in for a lot of damage, and then you're shocked to finish them off. So
Yeah, 100%. So, uh, extend, engine kick, shock, jolt. Love jolt at a 4 of. Lot of really really good moves here. Full disclosure, this looks a lot like the deck that I'm going to be taking for this weekend. Looks a lot like the deck I'm taking.
well, it makes me feel like I was on the right track because all I've played is Ochako 1. Like literally, when I started the game, I think you had just won the 1K, and my buddy was like, "Hey, look at this list because I have all the extra cards," and I was like, "All right, we'll start there." And then I've just
Tight.
been playing a version of her since then. So
Hey, great minds, you know.
yeah.
So let's I'm gonna jump in. Is there any more that you can say about the elevator pitch as I go and I find some cards to toss into the sideboard?
Not really. The attack, like the jolt and the shock, I just feel like those are kind of like auto includes. They're really good. Jolt's a really good turn one poke attack if you don't have a setup. The kicks just feed off of each other. I added the tape toss because I wanted something with deadlock, but also it's a throw. So I've literally had like turn one, that's my first attack, and I get it up to 8 damage, so it's at least doing 4, which is still really good.
Right.
Um, Nations, it was just ideas trying different ratios of cards that help me draw to gain the damage buff, but as well like help me play defense. Like the tape with 3+ ultras, I felt was really good defensively because anytime I can basically make your attack a full block. So it's just I was trying to find that balance between offense and defense to try to survive and kill him because being a 29 health, they're like still pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay, so I've made a sideboard of cards that we get to talk about. I love your attack lineup. I think the only thing that I would maybe possibly change is this card right here, Reciprocal Acceleration Kick. I was very off on this card. I was not a huge fan of this card. But the big thing about this card that what does it for me is the fact that it just removes the cards out of your card pool. So you can play like extend into high engine kick, into reciprocal acceleration kick. They're all getting major stats because of Sato. They're all stunning out. This guy is very fast because of extend. This guy's very fast because of its own ability. And then now we play our fourth attack, reciprocal burst, on a 4. It feels really, really good. And unfun stuff in the chat is right. Acceleration kick combined with plus ultra is a beating. Making this a 12 damage move when you just get to just like scoop all the kicks out of your card pool is insane. It's very, very strong.
That does make a lot of sense because there's a lot of times where I've had like 3 extends and a high engine kick in my card pool, and then it's like, well, I can't really keep pushing because I'm not going to be able to check at this point.
Correct. And even if like you end with a high engine kick instead of ending with this on the very last string, right? Like play a move, acceleration, clear, and then play 2 more 4 diffs. Like that feels great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this card a lot to the point where I think in my deck I'm mainboarding 3 of it and secret pretend we're not streaming. I'm only mainboarding 1 burst. I am playing a different character than you, and I think that this character is very, very good at what he does. It's just like I felt like my character didn't need the extra bonus damage that this got. You know what I'm saying? And so this is where I was, but that has technically increased our count here. So maybe we have to like drop this down to like a 2 of, or maybe even like this is like a spicy 1 of in order to put this back to 2 in order to keep our numbers back where they were, you know?
Okay, yeah. Because, I mean, Burst, I mean, there's been so many games where I've won without it just because I check it or something. So like, I feel like it's not absolutely needed to kill, but if you get it set up off an extend with like even a plus ultra and then its effect from the momentum, then it's really good.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I love the fact that you are committing to 4 jolt, 4 shock. These two cards and then this third card is going to mess up the math on reciprocal acceleration kick. It is going to make this card technically worse, but if you're down to go up by like one more attack, this is probably I would probably test this at a 2 of and a 2 of, see which one you like, and then kick the other one, move one up to 3 and then one down to 1 and see where you're at there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely test that the next couple of days.
Yeah. Moving on to our foundations. Hit me with your thoughts foundation wise. What do you got going on?
So I just figured requesting assistance at a 4 of because it's a 0 check, or a 0 cost, being able to untap momentum or uncommit momentum, I guess is the correct term, is like really good. I'm main decking 2 short circuits and siding 2 just because I feel like there's a lot of matchups where it's still really good, right? Like outside of Ochako and Dinky, it's pretty much good against most other decks, like especially Nomu, All Might, like just being able to. Because I've noticed with this testing against All Might, sometimes I still have cards in hand because I draw.
Right.
And then they're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to give this 4 damage. And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to pop it back to printed damage and take it or block whatever. But
He is for sure the hardest matchup for you is All Might, right? Because you want to have 1,000 cards in your hand at all times, and he just like feeds off of that. So I could easily see short circuit for the All Might matchup. The one character that you missed where this card's dead is Jiro, and even though we are playing in a webcam event, I think that Jiro is still going to be relevant, still going to show up in spades.
Yeah, and the other way I look at it too is in the dead matchup, it's my easy. I can side this out, guaranteed.
Yeah.
2 cards side out there.
Love that.
Gotcha was the one shock treatment. I was like, it's a really good card. I feel like it's still good to run 1 and sideboard the other. I thought about bumping it to 2. I just feel like it's a good card. Like if you see it, it has good benefits.
I have it 2 of in my deck right now, just because like I kind of live and breathe off of this card to the point where like I think I might even be siding a 3rd. Like I think the card's actually that cracked, but I think it's personal preference. I think if you're not down to, yeah, go ahead.
I thought about it. I played it as a 2 of in Ochako, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
I was just more finding the space because I didn't want to like overdo foundations and attack balance. So it was more of like finding space. But it is something I've considered bumping up to 2. And yeah, I went kind of high because you're filtering like potentially 2 cards a turn, drawing a lot. So I didn't want to deck out super quick and mill 10 or remove 10.
I agree. I think this card is actually very, very good inside of a lot of characters. I'm playing an even bigger deck than you are. I don't think 66 is that big because of all your filtering. I think you're fine, man.
Okay.
I do want to put this gotcha up to a 4 of though.
Okay. Yeah. That was the one I was like 50-50 on. I like it's another 0 cost against the mirror, I guess you could say it would be good. Otako's played Jolts. Dinky plays Jolts. Jiro plays Jolts sometimes. So like most decks out there have some type of stun. So
here's actually where I think this card shines. Actually is. So Sato's big thing is he commits down your board, right? Like he just takes and says you don't have any things. You got to play on your raw stats. And this is a 3 low, which means any 2 block in the game can block it. As soon as you push this up to 4 low, now only your 1 lows can auto block it, right? Or your 1 lows has to check that 5. And so even the commit cost on Indiscriminate pushing the gotchas +1 speed, making this 4 low, is the thing to push Sato over the edge to make this your best attack. And you have to have these 2 cards, this 2-card combo, at the very end with my opponent committed out, which is very easy, we're Sato, in order to make this happen. Or you have to have Indiscriminate and plus Ultra. Like those are the 2 options in order to actually push this card through at the end. Otherwise, it's just going to get blocked by a self-sacrifice, and you're going to feel silly.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, so I think you have to play 4 of this card. And that brings me
I never
to
actually
a
thought
sideboard
about
option.
doing
It
it.
does make Think Fast really useful because putting the 1/1 on a high version of Indiscriminate Shock feels good. People will hold low specifically for Indiscriminate and Recipro Burst and your Acceleration Kick and turning it into a high. It's very choice. It's very, very
Okay.
good. And that 1/1 might actually be the thing that wins you the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As well as it takes these like extends, like extend and jolt and grasp not so much, not doesn't matter so much, but it takes them off of the mid zone so that your eraser head matchup is not like, oh, they just auto block my extends, they just auto block my jolts. They're now highs and lows. They can't just block with their erases. They actually have to think fast about it. Teehee teehee
Oh,
teehee.
so yeah, because you would use this to commit the gotcha, and then the second enhance for the +1/+1, right?
Correct, correct. So now you've got
Okay.
+2/+1 off of a single resource, and you change the zone. You've got +2/+1 on your Recipro Burst, and then you stun them 1. Well, now it's a 3 high for 5. We then get to give it 1 more stun. It's now a 4 high for 5. My 1 momentum that I have from a jolt earlier that just committed another foundation is now a 5 high. So now this is like off of a single foundation, a small little tactic here of this like 3-card combo. I'm now got like a 5 or an 8 high for 10 on a single momentum, which is like a tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough nut to crack.
Each
Let's
time they commit a foundation, you're giving it 1 speed as well.
Correct. Yeah. So if they're like trying to play and fight back against you, I think this card puts in a lot of work. But the thing is like we have to figure out what to cut, or we just start jamming, stuffing things on top. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Tape is a 4 of. Obviously, we're playing plus ultra. Bonds of Friendship 4 of makes sense. Passing makes sense. You could push this up to a 4 of if you wanted to, because I mean you're Sato, right? You love drawing
Yeah,
cards.
you,
Big
oh
fan.
yeah.
Big fan. So sacrifice it a 2 of. Why so low?
I don't know. I mostly ran it. I was trying to find space, and I mostly ran it because I was like, well, it's a low block, so I really like that. But even sometimes giving that damage, but
Yeah.
I just based off of space, I wasn't sure what to fit in ratio wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll at least start at a 2 of and see from there. I thought about considering bumping it up to 4 just because it's a amazing 1 low block. So at minimum, plus just being able to pump or minus damage.
Here's what I want to do. I want to cut Short Circuit down to a 1 of, because I think if you find value in this card, then it's good, but it's not one of those things that you want to have all the time and just sideboard the other 1 or 2, right? And then let's take this self-sacrifice and push it up to a 3. That 1 damage over the course of a game, not only keeping you out of deadlock, but also like pushing your first extend to be a 5, 6 with Sato, 7 with self-sacrifice after I've drawn another card. Sorry, it's an 8 damage move. So, like, we're using all of our committed resources in order to make this a 4 mid for 8. They blocked it, right? If they blocked it, that's another card out of their hand, so my Indiscriminate is going to pop off even harder, right, on that kill turn. As well as every self-sacrifice that you have out on play is +1 health to Sato, who's already a 29 health character.
Yeah, because you're getting to take away a damage.
Correct. You've got a 5 damage move, and I popped 3 of these. It was a 2 damage move. Yeah, I'll take 2. I'm down to 27. I don't care. And we're the order symbol. We have the most playable spam of any symbol. Every single symbol wishes they were us with the amount of spam that we have, and so like we're allowed to capitalize. We're allowed to capitalize and destroy these foundations because we're just gonna get them back. Triple sticky balls. Love this. I think I'm playing 2, 1 of the sideboard. I think my third copy of sticky balls is a second shock treatment, and then that's where our number is.
Yeah,
Call
that
me back up.
thing's
Go ahead.
so good. I was like, yeah, Steve Balls is just even if just getting a neg 4 speed, and then eventually against a matchup, or if you need the protection, put a card in their card pool. I was like, I gotta like play at minimum 2 because it's just really good defense.
Yeah, it's really really good. Love calling, love heroic. If we could figure out a way to put it at a 4 of, that'd be tight. But like, we don't really pump speed on our face. We really have to pump speed elsewhere.
Yeah.
1 fulfilled is good. I like it. I think I ended up cutting this card exclusively to the sideboard, just because I was nervous about the 2/4. but I'm also playing a different character, so maybe Sato just makes better use out of this card. I do think this card sometimes, especially if you are a Racerhead, which looks like he's in your sideboard, I think that you need to play a full play set of Fulfilled between main and side. If you are planning on using this Ida, this is the best piece of disruption that this character has. This is actually an unfair interaction, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Actually.
and I've done that a lot of times. I'll go game 2 and side into Ida, side in the extra fulfills.
This versus like an Atsui saying that like if you drop double fulfilled my duty versus Atsui, they can't kill you on the kill turn they wanted to. They actually just have to skip a turn because they can't play with 2 bonus cards in their card pool. Steal the first enhance. All right, we'll end it. I don't care what you're trying to do. It's actually not possible for them to play if you drop double fulfilled on like turn 1. Yeah, you will get a bonus turn. Natural Leader. How do you feel about this card?
I mean, I don't. It was just something I was like, oh, the first enhance seems like it could be useful, but it's something that I'm not like I have to run or I don't have to run. I'm just kind of like it's there.
For sure. Yeah. So here's how I feel about this card. I think the stock on this card on Order and Void goes up every single day that I look at it. This is the poorest poor man living in a box, living in a van down by the river, irrefutable force of nature. Okay. I want to Grasping Tape Toss you. I want to Electric Jolt you, and you have a singular Wall Cling. My first enhance is you can't use Wall Cling. My next enhance if it's fully blocked. This card says that these pokes that we need to get to momentum, our throws, our jolts, they actually get to momentum. You have a speed reset sitting on your board. You have a short circuit. The first thing that I'm going to do against my Reciprocal Burst, you can't use that one. Sorry, man. Right? It is just enough to turn off essentially seal a move for 1 attack. Right?
Yeah. And
its abilities on the chosen card can't be played, right? So you could even turn off things, and it's not even symbol locked like irrefutable, right? You as long as you can get past the response step, right? Like this card's really bad versus like the best card versus us, Specialist of Sound, right?
Yeah.
This card's terrible against that, but it actually is all but, hey, enhance commit, give me that +2 speed back on 90% of my moves, right? Like it hits Jolt, it hits all of our kicks, it hits Grasping. The only card that it doesn't touch is Indiscriminate, but it could touch if we do decide to put in the Think Fast. I'll commit this gotcha, I'll make it mid. I know you don't have the plus ultra because you're a homie and you've checked all 4 of them, right? Well, give this guy 2 bonus speed, I'm down. I'm down. And then give it the other speed because we've changed the zone, right? Like there's certainly schmoves with this card, and it says that my Recipros get bigger, my hinging kicks get bigger, my extends get bigger, poking with it, and then 8 damage extend, committing my 1 card to make it 6 for 8 off of Sato feels great. It feels wonderful. Yeah. Classmate introductions. How you feel about it?
I literally just started testing that a couple of days ago. Just in theory, I was like, oh, this seems like it'd be good, but I feel like maybe that can easily become the extra copies of Natural Leader because like it's good for your first attack, and then I've noticed a lot of times that's it because they usually block your first attack, and at that time I'm not getting any benefit out of it after the first attack.
So my big thing about this, love you too, I'm sorry. The big thing about this card is this card forces your opponent to block your first move, right? Because if they choose not to block your first move, you're going to stun them out with Sato. You're going to stun them out with Recipros and Grasping. And then it says that my Indiscriminate Shocks get that thing that is actually scary, and that is speed. We don't care about the damage on it. We care about the speed on the first one, them not blocking it, or them having to use a ton of resources, and then the Indiscriminate popping off later. This card is a bait, and it's not very good all by its lonesome. This card needs to. You want to see all 3 of it on board. If we see it has to be seen at least in pairs, right? It's almost the first version of Battle Resolve. Yeah. And so if you were looking to make cuts, if you're looking to do moves, I think this is the first thing on the chopping block. Genuinely, I think this card is not that great. I think the character that plays it best is Sato. Just because like he does get the stun, he does get this big damage, and he forces them to block early so that the shocks don't get big later. Like giving Jolt like 2 bonus speed and stun 1 EX if you really want to. I mean, it feels good. It feels very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it says like things like grasping tape toss can't be your lead because giving this thing even 3 speed. It's a 5 mid for 5. Yeah, who actually gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who cares about this one? Know what I'm saying?
I only do it like if I don't really have a big turn. I'm like, all right, let me get that extra throw damage because I know they're gonna block.
Fair. Yeah, I think this card's very lackluster, but I want you to keep testing it in order to do this stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last one, Desperate Times, at a 2 of. We've gone through like literally your entire deck. Just a 2 of.
I've honestly, that's one recently I just added in as well. When I started adding in a couple more attacks, I was like, I gotta balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like it because it's another 0.
Right.
I don't like that it's a 3 high. But I've also, it kind of helps in like for one of the worst matchups, all my 3,
Right.
because he's going to draw 2 at some point.
Yep.
He's passing the torch, and this makes him commit. So I do that when he does the draw on his turn. So now it's like if he's passing turn to me, he better hope he has enough defense, and I can't stun him out.
100%.
So
This is. I would actually toss this up to a 4 of if I could. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably toss the heroic out of the main board, put them all on the sideboard. You could even like this is craziness, and I know it is. You could toss bonds down to a 3 of, and feel fine. Right. I like Natural Leader in here personally. I'm a big fan. In fact, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna toss you, and then either we leave this and like increase our deck count, or toss this down to the 3 of. Right. Our spam stayed the same. In fact, it technically got better because we've got 4 of this and 4 of this. We're gonna build out on turn 1 exceptionally well. But this card being so good versus your absolute worst matchup is goated. It's very good.
That's 12-0 checks, which is really good.
Yeah.
Because you have requesting.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah,
you're going to pop off on turn 2 because of all the 0s and 1s that you have. Like I said, the order symbol is insane. It's lousy with how much spam it has. Literally half your deck is spam foundations.
So should I maybe take out the classmates for at least like another natural leader or 2 more, and then the think fast?
And then the think fast. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. The other option is test this natural leader for the next couple days, and then if you don't, if that's not where it's at, then let it rock.
Okay. And how many think fast would you say, like, trying to fit in?
1. Literally 1. Yep. It's unique and it's fine. It's a 1 mid block, which feels great, way better than the 3 that classmate is rocking. But it's fine. It's fine. It's nothing to really write home about. But this card can just steal you games by just overloading one zone.
So basically, if I do the stack, cut classmate, bump natural leader up to 3, and then add in a think fast.
Yeah. So the other option that I have for mainboard cards, if you really wanted to, Charged Up works exceptionally well for Jolt. It works exceptionally well for Windmill Slamming Bursts because this is a charge, Extend is a charge, Grasping Tape Toss is a stun. And so like if any of these hit, you just get to go take and toss a Jolt into your momentum and then flip an additional thing, right? And so like this card is just like a bonus copy, essentially a bonus copy of Shock Treatment. But if I were you, I would just run the Shock Treatment over the charge personally, right?
Okay. Sense.
Full Cowling feels really good versus some defensive decks. If a character really wants to use their face, this card inside of your sideboard is just really good for like, yo, knock that off. Yo, you gotta block me. Does not work at all with any of your kick synergy, but it is interesting, right? It might be the thing that like helps push you over the edge of like a Nomu matchup because your shocks like don't do anything, and this card is very good at doing its job.
Yeah.
And then my last thing is I think Ida2 is nuts inside of this list. I think he's very, very good. And then Kirigiri the same way. I think this is a more mid-range type deck where this is a bit more of an aggressive deck. And then this is a control deck playing literally the exact same engine.
Okay.
And so, like, if you find that ETA 1 is not quite getting you there with ETA 1 and the Fulfill My Duty, which is like an insane package, if you're not feeling this, I would maybe suggest looking at these guys. I know Kirigiri can be a little hard to find, but ETA you should have because you've got the acceleration kicks.
Yeah, I have both of them.
Yeah, you got both.
Yeah.
Tight. All in all, this is probably where that I would let it rock. Mess around with classmates. See how you feel about it. I still don't like Short Circuit, but that's a Tam problem, not a you problem. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't do anything against your normal Chaco deck, anyways.
Yeah. Who there were 5 of them in tops last week, so.
Yeah. So
what do
that's
you do?
the other reason why I was like, maybe I just make it a sideboard card, because if there's a big overflow of Ochakos again, I'm kind of automatic side out game 2.
Yeah. Personally, that's what I would do about it. That's how I feel. But I mean, test it. See how you feel.
What do you think about the creepy realizations in the side?
I love it. It's kind of the exact same way as Short Circuit, I feel. It feels good, but our deck isn't inherently stuffing their deck, and so like I don't think you need it to be mainboarded.
Yeah, I thought like Asui can, well, if I stuff them, but mostly like all my matchup is what I was thinking about again too. If they try to go on a string and they don't see the evil doers in time, it's like, okay, I can neg the damage of this card.
Yeah, makes sense to me. We love negging. Just kidding.
Yeah. Okay, and so the shock treatments or the short circuits could definitely just become a sideboard card and open up some room for something else. Okay.
For sure. All right, man. Let me shoot you this list over, and thank you so much for the support over on Patreon.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate the advice. See how it does this weekend.
Yeah, good luck with it. I'll see you in Top Cuts, okay?
That's the goal.
Peace, brother.
Bye.